Sup nerds, I'm Wes.
And I'm Aaron.
Today we're taking a look at the International Tabletop Day exclusive, Wonderland by Renegade Games.
I would describe Wonderland as a two-player duel, a little bit of bluffing style game where each of us is going to have one faction of cards and we're going to be playing them trying to... It's almost like area control in a way too. You're trying to like lock down with like multiplication, so you better pay attention to math class. There's a little bit of like, some of them are equal to like 0, so you multiply with 0 and it cancels that entire row out. You're just trying to have the highest value in rows and columns to win the cards that you're not really sure which ones they are and how many points they're worth.
Yeah, if you want a little bit more information on how the game is played, I actually did do a full how to play for this game. So if you've got 7 minutes to spare, go ahead and there's going to be a link to that down below or in the eye popping up top. Click on that, watch that, and you'll have a really good, solid, well-presented grasp on how this game plays and what it's about.
All right, so you're back from watching it, right? What do you think?
I thought it was good for what it was. It's definitely not going to be Spiel des Jahres or anything like that because it's a game that literally can play in like 60 seconds. It's really small. In the main game, there are only 14 cards and that's it.
In this little baggie.
Or not even that. You can stick them in your pocket, stick them in your wallet, stick them in this pocket, hold them in your hand, put them behind your ear, wherever you want to put them. It's easy to get them there, so it's super transportable. It's fun for what it is. I had a good time playing it. There's a surprising amount of strategy that comes out of it with what cards you put face down, which is where the bluffing comes in of like, oh, I'm going to pretend like I'm going for this one, and it's a 1, and I'm going to drop my 7 over here and get this other card that's a 6. What?
Yeah, I can definitely see where there is a lot of strategy in where you place the cards either face down or face up and when you place them too. Because if you place a card early and it's a high value card, your opponent's probably going to try and cancel it out if they have one of those canceling poison icons.
Mm-hmm.
I think this game is going to be perfect for people who like to carry around Love Letter but often find themselves with just 2 players, and Love Letter just isn't.
No, you need a lot of players for Love Letter.
So this is a strictly 2-player game that is going to take up the same footprint as Love Letter. It's a very small game, and you can carry it anywhere.
I agree. I think the art is nice. They have some cool interpretations of what Alice in Wonderland is. The theme doesn't really come through at all. Maybe a little bit in the expansion with just like the way it affects things, but even then, it's mostly just pretty artwork on an abstract game.
What's the word I was about to use? And so yeah, it's definitely just an abstract game that after you learn how to play it and which way is the best way to play the cards, then you can start to strategize and try and figure out your opponent and how they're placed in their cards and just try to be the best.
I do think that my favorite thing about it is the little potions and cakes on the edges of the cards. That just really, without that, I would not like this game. I would say it'd be boring. Meh, there's no point in buying it if you own a standard deck of playing cards. But the fact that those symbols are there, like what you put face down up top, like, oh, I could put this one up here, but I want this symbol on it. And like, which way you orient the card. And like, oh, I'm going to drop this card here. Oh, I forgot he has this hand in his card still, or this card in his hand still that can now negate my 7 to a 0, and I just wasted all this time doing it.
Well, maybe he has it. Because, yeah, there's definitely, like, if you keep your 7 for a card that you play for power, it has no special icons.
Mm-hmm.
So you can definitely win, a column or a row. Well, not definitely. You have a very high probability of winning. But if you take out the 1, it's not going to give you a lot of points, but it gives you the option of multiplying something and just canceling something out. So that is huge when it comes to what strategy you're taking that round. You're like, okay, am I going to just put down my low cards and keep my big cards in my hand to try and score points, or do I want to put my high cards out there and hopefully my low cards will win me those cards and give me a bunch of points?
And even there's a little bit of like force people's hand of like, oh, I can see they're going for that. I'm going to put this card here, which is going to negate whoever puts a card there. So now we're both kind of trying to vie back and forth to like see who doesn't have to put a card in this slot. So again, like I think when I was first sitting down to play it, I was like, oh, this is like super simple, kind of dumb. Like, all right, we'll fiddle through it. And then like after the first, like honestly, the second I put my first face-up card down, and I was like, ha, oh, he could do this, and then this, and this, and like the strategy started unfolding, and I realized, oh, this is actually really solid for what it is.
So there is a little mini expansion that comes in the game that we didn't really play very much. We played one round of it where, like, we played a couple games. We're like, let's try one of the expansion cards. And they just add more variety to your game. Once you've, mastered, the basic game, it'll give you new ways to end the game scoring. And, either, giving huge multipliers or, like, just canceling things out. There's just all kinds of crazy things, and like making the loser actually be the winner, and it can really throw you for a loop.
Yeah, it does add a little bit of wackiness to the game, I think, which I think some people will like and some people won't. But either way, it's 4 cards and it's a free expansion that's included in the game. So take it or leave it. If you love it, great, it's there for you. If you don't worry about it.
So if that sounds good to you, make sure you go out to your local game store this Saturday and get yourself a copy. There may be copies in the wild. We'll put a link down in the description if there are, so you can get yourself a copy.
And if we don't have a link down there, but you see them available somewhere, just put a comment down there so we can pin that comment or put a link. Or we probably won't do it. But, if you want to let us know, you can.
Either way, subscribe to our channel so you'll never be bored. One person playing as the Mad Hatter?
The Red Queen.
The Red Queen?
Red Queen Versailles.
The Red Queen has the... No, yeah, no.
You want to start that over?